Here are the top stories for today, December 17, 2019. A House panel approves on second reading a bill increasing the salaries of government workers. The DPWH says all major roads affected by the magnitude 6.9 quake in Mindanao remain passable. The PNP prepares to file cases against members of the New People's Army who were behind the landmine attack in Borongan City. And the Pangasinan police co-produced a movie about the real-life stories of cops. Good day. I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The House of Representatives on Monday night approved on second reading a bill seeking to increase the salaries of civilian government employees, including nurses and teachers. House Bill number 5712, or the proposed salary standardization, was authored by Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano and House Majority Leader Martin Romualdez. It proposes a 4-year period salary increase for government officials and employees set to be implemented in 2020 until 2023. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Isidro Ungab said the measure aims to attract and retain competent and committed civil servants and promote performance-based work among the public sector workers. Earlier, President Rodrigo Duterte certified as urgent the bill implementing salary standardization for government workers. The Sandigan Bayan on Monday dismissed the complaint filed against the family of the late strongman Ferdinand Marcos, which involves alleged 200 billion pesos worth of ill-gotten wealth. In its 58-page decision, the anti-graft court ruled to turn down the 33-year-old case filed by the Presidential Commission on Good Government due to failure to prove its allegations by preponderance of evidence. Among other things, the court said the majority of the evidence presented by the PCGG was photocopied, which violates the best evidence rule. The photocopies include the income tax returns of the late president from 1961 to 1965. The complaint was filed by the PCGG on July 16, 1987. Aside from the 200 billion pesos in actual damages, the PCGG also sought 250 million in expenses and 50 billion in moral damages from the Marcoses. All national roads and bridges in areas affected by Sunday's magnitude 6.9 earthquake that struck parts of Mindanao are reported to be passable. The Department of Public Works and Highways on Monday said the major thoroughfares and viaducts in northern Mindanao, Davao Region, and Caraga Region are open to all vehicles. In Soxargen, motorists are allowed to use major roads and bridges with minimal destruction. Meantime, the DPWH reported the assessment of structures is currently being conducted. In a report from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, 7 people have died and at least 49 were injured due to collapsed houses and buildings during Sunday's tremor. Authorities in General Santos City report no major damage from the magnitude 6.9 earthquake that hit Mindanao on Sunday. Meanwhile, building damage is reported in parts of Sarangani and Davao del Sur. More on this and other news from the provinces from Benji Bondoc.
No major damages were recorded in vital structures in General Santos City in the wake of the magnitude 6.9 earthquake that hit Mindanao on Sunday afternoon. The city engineer's office said they only found minor cracks so far in some buildings of the city government and several private establishments. Mayor Ronel Rivera ordered the inspection and assessment of buildings in the city following the quake, which was felt at intensity 6 in the city. In Sarangani, at least 16 houses and several other public structures in 2 municipalities were reported damaged as a result of the magnitude 6.9 earthquake. The Office of Civil Defense Region 12 said 13 houses sustained partial damages, while an old multipurpose building collapsed in Malungon town. Malungon, which felt the earthquake at intensity 6, is Sarangani's closest town to the epicenter in Matanao, Davao del Sur. Meanwhile, the 6.9 magnitude earthquake which hit Davao City and many areas in southern Mindanao on Sunday afternoon have caused major cracks in various buildings in the city. The Davao City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office said major cracks were found in some schools and establishments. Acting Mayor Sebastian Duterte suspended classes on Monday for the safety of the school pupils and to give government engineers and managers time to assess their facilities. A preemptive evacuation of families in heavily affected and landslide-prone areas in Marilog and Maa were also conducted. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Still to come, the PNP prepares to file cases against members of the New People's Army who were behind the landmine attack in Borongan City. Police investigate the link between the killing of a businessman in Bacolod City to the ambush of a councilor a year ago. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, is preparing to file cases against New People's Army members who were behind the landmine attack in Borongan City, Eastern Samar on December 13. PNP Deputy Regional Director for Administration Colonel Marvin Manuel Pepino said they are still conducting a thorough probe of the attack and gathering statements from witnesses. This in preparation for the filing of murder and attempted murder charges. A junior police officer, a 69-year-old woman, and a 50-year-old government employee were killed, while 4 other policemen and 11 civilians, including 3 minors, were injured during the explosion, followed by a burst of gunfire. On Sunday, PNP officer in charge, Lieutenant General Archie Francisco Gamboa, paid his last respects to the slain cop patrolman Mark Jerome Rama and extended sympathies and assistance to the bereaved families of the fatalities. Gamboa also visited the 4 wounded policemen and extended financial assistance to them. Malacanang questioned Vice President Leni Robredo anew for taking so long in releasing her report on the government's drug war. The Vice President called for a televised press conference only to say she was postponing the release in unity with victims of the magnitude 6.9 quake on Sunday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said Robredo should have released the irregularities that she knows about this from the very time of discovery. He said Robredo would not have needed to push back the release of her findings if she had done it when she was still co-chair of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs. Panelo assumed it must be difficult for Robredo to give recommendations on the government's war on drugs if she really had nothing new to put on the table. Meanwhile, Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency Director General Aaron Aquino said he was unfazed by Robredo's impending release of the report, saying the administration is ready to hear her side, be it good or bad for the administration. The Philippine peso is expected to receive a boost from the strong inflows of remittances this year. ING Bank Manila senior economist Nicholas Mapa said the local currency has been getting additional support from the robust inflows from overseas Filipino workers. On Monday, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reported that cash remittances grew by 8% last October alone to $2.67 billion, while year-to-date expansion was 4.6% to $24.9 billion. MAPA said remittance inflows are helping provide additional strength for the peso in 2019 and give hope for a strong consumption print in the fourth quarter. He said cash remittances remain resilient despite the issues like the U.S.-China trade war, the unrest in Hong Kong, and the geopolitical concerns in the Middle East. MAPA, however, said the situation can reverse next year on projected improvement of imports related to the government's fiscal push. Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA data show that imports posted a 10.8% decrease last October, a turnaround from a year ago's 26.2% expansion. The Bacolod City Police Office is looking into the possible link of the murder of businessman Roberto Tan to the ambush survived by his brother, former Councilor Ricardo Tan, about a year ago. City Police Director Colonel Henry Binya said on Monday, investigators at Police Station 4 continues to gather pieces of evidence that are looking into the various angles, including the ambush of Councilor Tan. Roberto Kaishek Tan was gunned down by two suspects riding in tandem in Greensville 1 subdivision, Barangay Estefania, on Sunday morning. Roberto was gunned down exactly a year after his brother Ricardo and his wife Anita, who were ambushed by at least 3 assailants. The couple were on their way home from the family-owned Campuestohan Highland Resort when unidentified men fired at their Nissan patrol vehicle. Both Tan and his wife survived the attack and only sustained abrasions. Weeks after the ambush, the councilor again made headlines when President Rodrigo Duterte linked him to the illegal drug trade. Up next, the Philippine National Railways launches its first 8,000 class trains. And the Pangasinan Police co-produces a movie about the real-life stories of cops. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders. The country's first 2 sets of 8,000 class trains meant to operate in the FTI Tutuban and FTI Malabon routes took their inaugural run on Monday. In a ceremony at the Philippine National Railways De La Rosa Station, PNR General Manager June Magno said the inaugural run is part of rail tradition to christen the first type of train launched in a new class. The 2 new train sets, made up of 6 diesel multiple-unit rail cars from Indonesia, is part of the PNR's transformation during the Duterte administration. The inaugural run, which started from PNR De La Rosa Station, ended at the Tutuban Station. The Department of Transportation said that the new trains in operation, the FTI Tutuban and FTI Malabon routes, will gain an additional 18 to 20 trips per day. The DOTR said the increase in trips will result in headway of 20 minutes during peak hours, aside from the expected increase in ridership to 140,000. In sports, the last leg of the Philippine Surfing Championship opened in Borongan City on Sunday night. Over 100 surfers participated in the Surfing in the City, the first national competition that promotes the city's long coastline. This final leg of the PSCT circuit will determine who will be the top surfer in the country for 2019. The Surf Riders Club Eastern Samar, in cooperation with the Philippine Surfing Championship Tour and the Department of Tourism, organized the said event. SCES President Rupert Ambil said Borongan is unique among surfing destinations in the country because the surfing spot is located within the city proper. Mayor Jose Ivan Dayan Agda is upbeat that Surf in the City will be the first of many locally organized events that will highlight Borongan as a tourist destination. Among the 103 surfers joining the Surfing in the City are SEA Games gold medalist Nilby Blancada and Roger Casugay, silver medalist Ikit Agudo and J.R. Esquivel, bronze medalist Daisy Valdez and John Mark Tocong and Piso Alcala. The government's anti-drug war documentary film, Gramo, will soon be viewed in seaports, airports, and buses, and will even be released overseas. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar said the docu-film will be distributed to transport terminals through the Department of Transportation, or DOT. Meanwhile, the Department of the Interior and Local Government will order all regional directors to allow the public viewing of the film. A copy of the film will also be given to other foreign countries and the United Nations. The hour-long documentary talks about the achievement of President Rodrigo Duterte's war against illegal drugs. Gramo is being simulcast in PCOO-run social media pages. The documentary film was released to address the inaccurate narratives about President Duterte's anti-narcotics campaign. Aside from the documentary film, the PCOO also launched a 57-page magazine titled Saving the Future of a Nation Countering Hard Drugs. The Pangasinan police is hitting the big screen as they star in a movie about the real-life exploits of cops. The film project also aims to give the public a look into the lives of the police. Janice Cave has the story.
The Pangasinan Police Provincial Office partnered with Home Court Artistry to create a film featuring real-life inspired stories of policemen. Lispu, sa likod ng Chapa, is a police story film that is outside of the box. There are no stunts, unlike other police story films. Pangasinense Director Harvey Aquino said this will serve as a voice for those good policemen who are affected every time they are being stereotyped negatively. Lieutenant Colonel Norman Florentino, PPPO Deputy Director for Administration, said the film project is part of the PNP's internal cleansing program. He said they wanted the public to see through this film the lives of policemen as spouses, parents, and protectors who continue to walk and sacrifice for the community that they serve. The film's casts include indie actor Akihiro Blanco, Gary Concepcion, Itbulaga's Miss Millennial Pangasinan Gwendolyn Soriano, Edmond Santiago, as well as local talents such as Raul Tamayo, Violi Valdez, and some members of the PPPO. The cast started filming on December 3, featuring different tourist spots in the province. It will be shown in January 2020 on selected cinemas in the province. The PPPO is hoping that it will also be shown in other cinemas outside Pangasinan. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. A House panel approves on second reading a bill increasing the salaries of government workers. The DPWH says all major roads affected by the magnitude 6.9 quake in Mindanao remain passable. The PNP prepares to file cases against members of the New People's Army who were behind the landmine attack in Borongan City. And the Pangasinan police co-produce a movie about the real-life stories of cops. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out more news content, check our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also, watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, I am William Theo. Good day.